Hello and welcome into LMU Community TV News. I'm Ashley Hurley. Thank you for joining us. Both directions of Interstate 75 are currently shut down just south of the Kentucky-Tennessee line due to a rock slide. The shutdown is forcing more local traffic. According to transportation officials, the highway will be closed until further notice, while crews continue to work and clean up and stabilize the area. The rock slide is in Campbell County at mile marker 142, about 30 minutes south of the Kentucky border. Officials were forced to shut down the interstate after falling rocks hit several vehicles Friday afternoon. There have been no reports of any injuries. Detours are, though, bringing more of that traffic through the community, and emergency officials are asking locals to use extra precautions as much of the traffic is being detoured to get to their connecting routes. Detours would normally take about 1 hour, but with the heavier traffic, it could take several hours. There is at this time no estimate on when the interstate will be open, and you can call 1-877-244-0065 for more information. The annual American Cancer Society Relay for Life kickoff was held Saturday, February 27th at the Lincoln Memorial University in the Tex Turner Arena during the men's and women's basketball games. The athletic department on the campus remains a continued supporter of the event after several years. The event gets volunteers started in the yearly fundraising that supports cancer research and treatment, as well as celebrates the bravery of those who fight and who have fought to beat this disease. Several vendors were set up on the concourse to sell anything from crafts to food, with all proceeds going straight to Relay for Life. Businesses, along with volunteers from all over the area, came to support the activities and begin their fundraising for the year. Everyone was not only invited to enjoy Relay for Life, but you are also invited to come out to the annual event that is held at the Harrogate City Park, and that is held each year in September. LMU-DCOM is an authorized training center for the American Heart Association, and they are doing their part in raising awareness for National Heart Month. In honor of this initiative, the LMU-DCOM is offering free community CPR training workshops. We visited with the American Heart Association Training Center Director, Jonathan Green.
Benefits of learning CPR is to increase the survival rate among cardiac arrest victims. And most of the people in the community, it's usually the biggest part of the time that they spend with someone is their family. And then, of course, in their position, in their job, in their occupation that they may be doing, they may be a first responder. So they also would increase the chance of survivability. Time is of essence. Having an automatic external defibrillator at the facility, it shows that defibrillation, basically you're doing CPR until a defibrillator can get there to shock that patient. So if everyone can increase their getting automatic external defibrillators in their facilities will increase that survivability rate, especially in this rural setting in Tennessee, Kentucky, and Virginia. And that's who we typically serve and is our largest majority of our patient, education outreach program.
Heart disease is the leading cause of death for both men and women, and LMU-DCOM is proudly doing what they can to prevent heart disease and increase awareness of its effects.
The survival rate among cardiac arrest victims due to strokes and heart attacks. And our goal is to increase that patient's outcome, the survivability of it. And we here offer CPR, first aid, AED, automatic external defibrillator, advanced cardiac life support, and pediatric life support. And it's also a two-year program. The card is good for 2 years. And the course ranges anywhere from 4 to 6 hours for the CPR, AED, and first aid. They can come here on campus, or we can come to them out in the community. We offer this to DO students, PA students, CRNA, nursing, paramedics, EMS, police, fire, rescue, dental offices, physician offices, and a big majority of our students are middle and high school students. Actually, we're doing a study on school-age kids because it is evidence has shown that teaching those hands-on method to school-age kids is a very cost-effective means of increasing survival rates, and we believe that in the future we'll be going and doing more students in the high school and middle school setting.
LMU DCOM offers a wide range of courses and certification for today's healthcare providers and the public at large through its Center for Simulation and Training. Use of the state-of-the-art equipment and facilities, the AHA's training center's instructors provide medical education in the areas of basic life support, advanced cardiac life support, and pediatric advanced life support.
Adult CPR, basically you're doing 2 to 2.5 inches in depth on the compression, and you're ventilating for 1 second, enough to get the chest to rise and fall. And then in your infant, you're basically using 2 fingers to do your compressions, and you're just tilting the head back enough to open up the airway. And you're just enough air that it would take that you could feel your jaws full of air is all you would ventilate in the kid. Of course, we encourage them to use a pocket face mask if it's a community lay rescue or anybody that doesn't have the professional bag valve mask, and so we encourage them to use the pocket face mask. And they're also, if they decide they're not going to do ventilations mouth to mouth, then they can do hands-only compression CPR, and that's where they just put their hands on the center of the chest and they pump 2 to 2.5 inches deep, doing 100 to 120 per minute, and until help gets there. And that they decide, and that's legal to be able to do that in the state of Tennessee. So they passed that ruling actually through the American Heart Association too. So,
just as living a healthy life is a key to having a healthy heart, and learning CPR is key to saving hearts. The AHA Training Center is authorized to provide training in Kentucky, Tennessee, and Virginia. For more information about how you or your community group can participate in CPR training, you can contact Training Center Coordinator Jonathan Green at 423-869-6480. The Lincoln Memorial University Police and Security Department has partnered with the Tennessee Governor's Highway Safety Office for the 2016 Seatbelts Are for Everyone campaign. The campaign is designed to increase seatbelt and child passenger safety restraint usage in the state of Tennessee. LMU joins the SAFE campaign to increase the safety and awareness right here on the main campus in Harrogate, and to encourage safe driving and seatbelt use to and from the campus. The LMU main campus roads see a large amount of traffic for a small, concentrated area, and during the campaign, LMU police will participate in awareness and education activities and perform traffic stops. According to LMU Police and Fire Safety Director Jamie Snow, it is the goal that every person that comes onto campus returns safely home, and the SAFE campaign is one more effort toward that goal. They are raising awareness through education and enforcement of the importance of drivers and passengers to buckle up every time for every trip. The SAFE campaign is in its 3rd year and has delivered some very impressive results that included 2,470 child restraint violations, 33,879 seatbelt violations, and 621 other seatbelt enforcement activities. The SAFE campaign got underway on February 1st and will run through August 1st. Now, participating agencies will pay special attention to nighttime seatbelt enforcement. Historically, 50% of Tennessee's traffic fatalities are unbelted. That percent, though, increases to nearly 60% when nighttime crashes are examined. So remember to buckle up for every trip and be safe. Coming up after the break, the Pet of the Week is back, and you don't want to miss this week's furry friend that is available for adoption at the Claiborne Animal Shelter, so keep it right here on LMU Community TV News.
I come from a big family. I'm the oldest of 6. To me, being the first person to go to college, it's like setting a standard, you know? My little brother is 8 years old now. I challenge his curiosity. I challenge him to dream. I have to paint a picture for him that he can look up to and live up to and possibly be better than. My name is Jaquez, and I am your dividend.
Todd's a great guy. I mean, look at him. What a sweetheart. Attaboy. Wait, Todd, what are you doing? How totally selfish and un-Todd-like of you. Come on, Todd. Come on, man.
Dare you. I dare you to change the world. Yeah, you. That college education.
I dare you to be somebody important.
Be a teacher or a reality TV star.
Dare you to stand up here.
To call the shots.
To be a role model.
An inspiration. An innovator.
To be a teacher.
Think you can change my life?
Make me excited about science like you.
Have a career that really means something?
Then do it.
I dare you.
Hey, look, it's those guys.
Get some drinks!
Are you good to drive?
I'm fine.
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be.
Go and step out of the vehicle for me.
See ya, buddy. Good luck. So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. So not worth it.
An invitation for Claiborne County alumni and friends to get together is being extended by the LMU Alumni Association. The Claiborne County Alumni Gathering is scheduled for Thursday, March 3rd at 7 o'clock in the Lincoln Dining Room for an informal alumni gathering. The Lincoln Dining Room is located adjacent to the main dining hall in the LMU Student Center. President B. James Dawson will give a campus update, and Director of Alumni Services, Sheila Cosby, will be on hand to give an update on LMU alumni. Director of Admissions, Sherry McCreary, and Assistant Vice President of Advancement, Frank Woodward, will be discussing admissions and scholarships. Refreshments will be served during the gathering. To RSVP, you can contact the LMU Office of Alumni Services by email at alumni@lmunet.edu or call 423-869-6353. Be sure that you invite prospective students who would be interested in attending Lincoln Memorial University, and the Office of Alumni Services extends a thank you for all your continued support of the Alumni Association, and they hope to see alumni and prospective students there. Read Across America is an annual reading motivation and awareness program that calls for every child in every community to celebrate reading on March 5th. The Middlesboro Mall is hosting Grab Your Hat, Read with a Cat this Saturday from 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock. There will be a costume contest at 1 o'clock with family-friendly exhibits and booths. There are also going to be free educational materials and books, free information and sign-ups for children, table activities, and entertainment. Read Across America motivates children to read, which is an important factor in student achievement and creating lifelong successful readers. Research has shown that children who are motivated and spend more time reading do better in school. In May of 1997, a small reading task force at NEA came up with the idea to create a day to celebrate reading. Then the group decided that they would use the day to celebrate Dr. Seuss's birthday, so that next year on March 2nd, 1998, the largest celebration of reading that this country has ever seen occurred, and that day still continues today. Well, a furry face is always the perfect addition for any family, and each week we try to bring you the adoptable pups from the Claiborne Animal Shelter. These furry faces are available for adoption at the Claiborne Animal Shelter, so let's show off this week's Pet of the Week in hopes of finding their forever home and family. Hey everyone, we are back with the Pet of the Week, and I am here with Liza from the Claiborne Animal Shelter, and she has with her Buckwheat. So tell us about Buckwheat.
Well, Buckwheat is as far as we can tell, he's a German Shepherd Lab mix, and he's got really a pretty coat.
Yes.
It's hard to explain what color it is. It's almost like a wheat color.
Yeah.
And he's been with us for quite a while. He came in with 2 other puppies, and they were very underweight, malnourished, and then he and his brother had a lot of hair loss.
Yeah.
So he's about 4 months old, but it's taken us 2 months just to get where his fur is all grown back, and he's healthy now. And do not be fooled by the way he's acting right now, because it's all a big trick. He's a very lively little puppy.
Are you faking? Are you being shy? Don't be shy. Don't be shy. We want to show everyone how you are. Yeah,
There you go. All right, so tell us about what their mix, generally, their behavior and, personalities.
Okay, well, first of all, with a lab, you're just going to get a really good dog. And same with the German Shepherd. I mean, if I were in the market for a puppy, I think I'd look for that mixture, just because they're very intelligent, they're very loyal to their families, they're fun, they're active, they're drive you crazy until they're about 3 years old, and then until they run out of their puppiness.
So soft.
They're easy to house train because they're a bigger dog. It's easier for them to control their bladder. Younger, like he would be able to be house trained really quickly, I would think. And they're smart, and they want to please their owners, and they want to do stuff with them, like go on jogs or go play catch, or maybe take an agility class.
Right.
And of course, a Shepherd Lab mix would make a wonderful therapy dog as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Very, very smart. So Buckwheat is very nervous about this whole situation.
Yeah.
And if he would just put his little ears up so you could see how darling he is when he's being his normal self. But I don't think he's going to do that. So,
okay, so what type of family would he be good with?
He would be good with a family with older young children, maybe 5 years old or more. An active family.
Yes.
Someone who's going to take him for walks. A nice fenced yard would be good, so he can run outside and play and not wander off. And a family that's going to be a family. That's going to spend time with them, be there with them, not just put them in a crate and leave for the day. And he's an inside pup.
Okay.
But he'll do well outside too. But he's, we always like all of our puppies to be indoor dogs.
Right.
So he's very active and energetic.
Yes.
So I'm telling you, do not be fooled by the way he's acting right now.
Okay, he's being a total.
He's wearing his mask.
He's acting.
Yes.
You're acting.
He is.
Okay, so how would a family go about getting to meet Mr. Buckwheat?
Well, they can come to the shelter. We're open Monday through Friday from 10 until 4 and Saturday from 10 until 2. Or they can go online to claiborneanimalshelter.com and submit an online application. We do a background check to make sure that references are up to date, that all the other pets in the family have been spayed or neutered, unless there's a medical reason why they weren't. And we want to make sure that when Buckwheat goes home, that he's going to go home to a place that's going to take care of him, and not go someplace wherever he came from. He was just a little stray. So with all of our puppies, we don't have them available for too long because we send transports out. So if anybody's interested in him, they've got to act fast. Otherwise, we're sending him up north where they can't get enough puppies.
All right.
So he's really is a sweet little guy. And if you come in the shelter to meet him, you'll see him in there wrestling with his brother and barking and shooting off his mouth and acting like a big shot.
Are you a big shot?
I'm a big shot.
Well, your collar does say bad to the bone. So, I can see it.
And see how he's got this little permanent smile around his face?
Yes, he does.
He's a beautiful. It's so hard to even describe what his fur is like, but he's just really got beautiful markings, and he's a really nice little guy.
Okay, is he on Facebook?
Yes, he is.
Okay, so go to Facebook, check him out. Pet Finder also, and visit the Claiborne Animal Shelter so you can get to know this little guy and maybe make him a part of your family.
Cumberland Gap High School Principal Linda Keck announced Monday morning that DeLynn Klein has been hired to once again lead the Panthers football team. Klein has previously coached at Pineville, Powell Valley, and he was the coach at Cumberland Gap from 2003 to 2006. Klein was 22-21 during his first run at Cumberland Gap with 3 playoff appearances. Klein will also stay on as athletic director at Cumberland Gap High School. When asked about why he came back, Klein said, quote, that when Keck asked him, he prayed and thought about it for days, and the time was right to come back into coaching. Klein also stated that the players seemed excited when it was announced to them late last week. Spring practice will start in May for Cumberland Gap. The LMU basketball teams wrapped up their 2015-16 regular seasons this past weekend with a visit from Catawba College. The LMU women came into the day tied with Catawba for the number 5 seed in the upcoming conference tournament. The Indians' Bree Johnson hit a 3-pointer 6 seconds into the game that would give Catawba the early lead that they would hold for most of the day. LMU kept the game close in the first quarter but trailed after one 18-16. Neither team lit the world on fire in the second quarter as they combined for 17 points. None of those were Catawba's, and they went into the break leading 27-22. LMU got the Indians' lead down to 2 points on numerous occasions in the third quarter, but they were still missing something, a three-pointer. That was until Brittany Guy finally had one fall with around 90 seconds left in the third to break an 0 for 12 streak by the team. Guy would find her rhythm in her third three-pointer of the fourth quarter, gave the Lady Rail Splitters their first lead of the contest with 6:15 on the clock. Catawba would eventually tie the game at 54 with 1:53 left before a Kiara Rawls layup and 2 Rawls free throws the next time down helped LMU jump out to a 4-point lead that proved to be too much. The Indians had a shot late before Josie Harding grabbed a steal with 3 seconds left, and LMU went on to win 62-58. Rawls led LMU in scoring with 14 points, while Guy added 13 with the win. LMU finished the regular season at 16-11 overall and 13-9 in conference play. They'll travel to Mars Hill, North Carolina on Wednesday night to face 4th-seeded Mars Hill. Tip-off is set for 7 p.m., and you can follow the action at LMURailSplitters.com. The LMU men went into their matchup with Catawba looking for history. They were trying to become the first South Atlantic Conference team to go undefeated in conference play. The Indians proved early on they were not going to lay down for LMU as they kept LMU within 2 possessions for over half of the first half before LMU went on a 23-15 run over the last 9 minutes to go into the locker room up 48-38. Once again in the second, the Indians hung around. Catawba got the deficit down to 11 4.5 minutes in, and then LMU used the next 10 minutes to go on a 22-9 run to blow the game open. The lead grew to as many as 27 before LMU cruised to the 95-73 victory to cement themselves in the history books as not only the only 4-time defending regular season champs, but as the first team in conference history to run an entire conference schedule undefeated. LMU was led in scoring by Jarrell Simmons, who had 26, and Luquan Choice into the game with 13 points, but broke the LMU single-season record for most three-pointers. Choice ended the regular season with 101 three-pointers, surpassing his season total from last year by 1. He also became the second South Atlantic Conference player with 2 seasons with 100 three-pointers. LMU will enter the conference tournament as the overall #1 seed and will play host to Tusculum on Wednesday in the Tex Turner Arena at 7 p.m. LMU Sports Network coverage will start at 6:40 p.m. on 91.3 FM WLMU and LMU Community TV. The LMU baseball team started South Atlantic Conference action this past weekend at home with a 3-game set with Anderson in which there was no shortage of offense. In Game 1, LMU scored in each of the first 6 innings, which included 4 runs in the third, highlighted by a Gene Rodriguez grand slam, and 5 more runs in the 5th to blow open the game on their way to a 16-12 win. Rodriguez ended the Game 1 with 5 total RBIs, while Brandon Jean picked up his 2nd win of the season, going 7 innings, allowing 4 hits, 6 runs, and striking out 6. Game 2 later that day started out as well as the first one did for LMU. The Rail Splitters, already leading 5-0, exploded for 7 more runs in the third on their way to a 14-9 win. Mason Ewers and Danny Valdez each finished Game 2 with 3 RBIs, as pitcher Ethan Elliott went 6 2/3 innings, giving up 7 hits, 9 runs, while striking out 2 to pick up his 3rd win of the season. On Sunday, the 2 teams came back to complete the series, and Anderson made sure they did not get swept back out of Harrogate. Carson Barrett's home run in the first highlighted a 5-run opening inning for the Trojans. They would add 5 more in the third and 7 more in the 8th for good measure, and Anderson won 24-10. Barrett ended Sunday's game with 2 home runs and 8 RBIs. LMU's Matt Mullenbach got saddled with the loss, only going 2 innings, but giving up 6 hits and 8 runs. Now at 9-3 on the season, the Rail Splitters will hit the road this week when they'll travel to nearby Bristol, Tennessee on Wednesday for a battle with King University. The LMU softball team spent their weekend in Spartanburg, South Carolina as part of the Mid-South Classic. On Saturday in Game 1, they scored 2 runs in both the 2nd and the 3rd innings and then relied on the arm of Samantha Smith to defeat UNC Pembroke 4-3. Smith went the distance, 7 innings, allowing 9 hits, 3 runs, while striking out 4 to pick up her 2nd win of the season. Game 2 for LMU was against Lander, and this time it was not as good of an outcome as they fell 6-1. On Sunday, they opened the day with Augusta, and the Jaguars put up 6 runs in the first inning and held on to defeat the Lady Rail Splitters 6-5. Samantha Smith took the loss, only going a third of an inning, but allowing 6 runs on 3 hits. The 4th and final game of the Classic was against the Screaming Eagles of Southern Indiana. LMU put the first 5 runs on the board in the first 2 innings, but Southern Indiana came screaming back, scoring 4 runs in the 4th, 2 in the 5th, and 3 more in the 6th to win 10-6. Allie Jones finished with 3 RBIs for LMU, while Brianna Taylor took the loss, going 3 innings, allowing 5 runs on 6 hits, while striking out 1. Now at 4-13 on the season, the Lady Rail Splitters will continue their season opening road tour on Wednesday when they'll travel to Dahlonega, Georgia for a doubleheader with North Georgia. The LMU men's lacrosse team was in the Charlotte, North Carolina area over the weekend for their South Atlantic Conference opener with 20th ranked Queens. The Royals got the scoring started on a Spencer Corky goal 18 seconds into the contest. LMU get on the board about 3 minutes in on a Dylan Neisler goal to bring the game back to within 1, but the Royals proved why they are nationally ranked. Queens led after the first 5-1 and at the halftime break 10-5. The Rail Splitters kept it close in the third, only allowing 2 more goals, but Queens would score 8 in the fourth quarter to win 20-8. Adam Golia scored 3 times to increase his season total to 13 goals. With the loss, LMU falls to 2-1 overall and will now have to wait until March 12th for another chance to win their first conference game in school history. The Sprint Cup Series was in Atlanta, Georgia Sunday for the Folds of Honor Quick Trip 500. Kurt Busch got the start on the pole after his brother Kyle Busch's time was disallowed after failing post-qualifying inspection. The day would be dominated by the Green Flag Racing in Kevin Harvick's Chevy. Harvick would lead 131 laps on the day, but was attempting to chase down Jimmy Johnson when the caution flag came out with 3 laps to go. After a series of pit stops, Johnson came out in front of Harvick, Kyle Busch, Martin Truex Jr., and Dale Earnhardt Jr. On the restart, Harvick spun the tires, which started chaos not only for the cars up front, but for everyone following. Kyle Busch fell in behind Johnson, but as the field wrecked on the backstretch, he was passed by Dale Earnhardt Jr. for second. But Johnson would stay out front and win for the first time this season. Kurt Busch finished 4th, followed by Carl Edwards. It was Johnson's 76th Sprint Cup win of his career, which ties him with Dale Earnhardt for 6th on the all-time wins list. The Sprint Cup Series will now spend the weekend heading west to Sin City for the Cobalt 400 in Las Vegas. Now that's all for sports, but here comes Joseph Lewis with your box office report here on LMU Community TV News.
Hello, I'm Joseph Lewis, bringing you all the latest information in the world of movies. Tops at the box office this weekend were led for the 3rd time in a row by Deadpool, the year's first major superhero outing, adding $31 million onto its now $285 million domestic gross. Ceaselessly irreverent and bolstered by an all-or-nothing performance from Ryan Reynolds as anti-hero Wade Wilson, the film has officially outgrossed most of the other films in Fox's X-Men universe domestically and worldwide, the lone exception being 2014's hugely successful Days of Future Past. Following at number 2 was newcomer Gods of Egypt, the Gerard Butler starring action fantasy taking $14 million in its debut, a figure which counts for only a tenth of the film's $140 million production budget. Though Gods of Egypt has played better with audiences than with critics, it's on its way to becoming yet another quickly forgotten first quarter release for 2016. And rounding out the top 3 was Kung Fu Panda 3, adding $9 million onto its now $128 million domestic gross. Nearing the end of its theatrical run, it seems destined to remain the lowest grossing entry into the DreamWorks franchise, despite the fact that by all accounts the film is considered a solid conclusion to the trilogy. As for the weekend's other new releases, sports biopic Eddie the Eagle skied its way into the number 5 slot with a decent $6.3 million take, while the John Hillcoat thriller 999 came in at number 6 with $6.1 million, underwhelming in light of the all-star cast at its center. While most recent releases have quickly fallen off, the faith-based drama Risen and the romantic comedy How to Be Single have both managed to break even with their modest budgets, while Robert Eggers' experience in supernatural horror The Witch has already accumulated nearly 5 times its low $3.5 million budget. On Sunday night, the 88th Annual Academy Awards ceremony was held in Los Angeles, and this year's crop of winners were headlined by Spotlight, the tense journalism drama unexpectedly stealing Best Picture away from revenge thriller The Revenant, previously thought to be the surefire victor. The Revenant filmmaker Alejandro González Iñárritu predictably won Best Director for his large-scale, ostentatious effort, while leading man Leonardo DiCaprio proved himself to truly be the man of the hour, landing his first ever Oscar for Best Actor after decades of committed, intense performances. Brie Larson's powerhouse performance for Room won Best Actress in a category that really could have been anyone's game, considering she was up against Cate Blanchett's quietly devastating work in Carol and Jennifer Lawrence's winning turn in Joy. Supporting actor was probably the most interesting of all the performance categories, with Bridge of Spies' brilliant Mark Rylance coming out on top, over equally great turns by Tom Hardy in The Revenant and Mark Ruffalo in Spotlight. Supporting actress winner Alicia Vikander certainly had a star-making year, considering her work in Ex Machina, The Man from U.N.C.L.E., and The Danish Girl, for which she won, although history will likely remember Jennifer Jason Leigh's unforgettable role in The Hateful Eight most fondly. Pixar's beloved Inside Out rightfully took Best Animated Feature, while the Writing Awards for Best Original and Adapted Screenplay went to Spotlight and The Big Short, respectively. The Revenant unsurprisingly took Best Cinematography, although Mad Max Fury Road cleaned house in most other technical categories with 6 Oscars total. For a complete list of the night's nominations and winners, as well as photos and highlights from the broadcast itself, be sure to visit www.oscar.go.com. That's all for today in the world of movies. I'm Joseph Lewis.
And that is going to do it for us for this week's LMU Community TV News.
I'm Adam Haley. We'll see you again on Thursday.
For everyone behind the scenes here at LMU Community TV, I'm Ashley Hurley, and we will see you Thursday. I just copied you. Sorry.